call to order the Boulder County Commissioners Work Session for March 15, 2016. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among our cultures.
Do any changes need to come on the agenda?
No, sir.
Motion to accept as written. Second. Motion and second to approve the work session agenda. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. The purpose of a work session is to inform the Grant County Board of Commissioners of the agenda items that will be addressed at the next regular meeting, and for the department heads and other elected officials to communicate with commissioners in regard to matters in their respective departments. In accordance with Grant County Resolution 1601, we welcome the public to attend county work sessions. However, there will be no public input permitted during this meeting. So the next thing on the agenda will be review the March 17th regular meeting agenda.
First item, public hearing for consideration of ordinance number 16-03. This is discussion regarding the adoption of an ordinance amending the dedication of the local option gross receipts tax. We restarted this process at the last meeting. This is the process to adopt the ordinance. Any questions about? No? Okay.
We've been through it once, so we'll just do it right this time.
Next item, financial reports, approve, disapprove, March 14th, 2016 expenditure report. Linda, would you go over the highlights of that, please?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have some expenditures for approval, totaling $1,578,011.14. Included in this are AP checks to Bank of Albuquerque, and this is for debt service payments for the 2014 series GEO bonds and the detention center GEO bonds. The total for that check is $57,617.96. A check to Tyler Technologies in the amount of $12,639.32, and this is for the 2016-2017 financial package maintenance and updates. A check to Creative Product Sourcing in the amount of $11,249.48, and this is for the DARE supplies. Check to ECS Electrical and Construction Specialist in the amount of $12,800, and this is for a rotating beacon for the airport. A check to JNS Plumbing and Heating in the amount of $36,060.39, and this is for the water line improvements on Rosedale Road. A check to Bank of America in the amount of $30,165.78, and this is for a payment to the E1 pumper for Fort Bayard Volunteer Fire Department. A check to Bright Express Fleet Services in the amount of $17,341.77, and this is for the January 2016 fuel charges. And also included in this are payroll checks for pay period number 4 in the amount of $209,555.10. Pay period number 5, $212,654.70, making that total payroll of $422,209.80. Thank you.
Moving on to new business. Item C, overview of Cameron Creek prescribed, prescribed burn on the Silver City District. This will be just an informational presentation on an upcoming prescribed burn that will be in collaboration with the Forest Service. They'll be utilizing some support from the Grant County FMO as well as a couple fire departments, and that agreement's already in place. Item D, another informational presentation from Adam Mendoza on collaboration efforts on the Gila National Forest. Next, item E, approve, disapprove a proclamation declaring April 2016 as Fair Housing Month. Item F, Grant County Surveillance Program update from Margaret Begay. She was scheduled the last meeting and was unable to attend, so she'll provide that update at this meeting. Item G, approve, disapprove reappointment of Becky O'Connor to the Grant County Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. Her position terms out at the end of March, and she is requesting reappointment. Item H, approve, disapprove reappointment of John, I'm going to mess up his last name, Rivick, to the Grant County Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. His position also terms out at the same time, and he's requesting reappointment.
So we have 2 requests and 2 spots. It always makes it easy.
Yes, it is. Next, item I, approve, disapprove Grant County Detention Center Policies and Procedures Request for Leave Policy. This is an updated policy we went over at the last meeting. There is one change that the union requested, and we have incorporated that in this policy, and it's been submitted to the union for their review, and it's ready for your approval.
So they've already reviewed.
Yes. Have you heard back from him yet?
No, I haven't heard anything. If we hear something back, we'll let you know, but this is actually the first time that we're putting this in the SOPs, so you're not going to see the changes, Commissioner Hall. So the whole thing is the policy there. Does that make sense?
Are any of the changes have to do with FMLA?
FMLA.
No. It's a request for leave procedures for submitting your vacation and sick leave.
Okay.
Mike, do you have anything to add to that? Item J, approve, disapprove PERA qualification record form for the following volunteer fire departments: Cliff Gila, Fort Baird, Lower Members, Santa Rita, Sapio Creek, Tyrone, Upper Members, and Whiskey Creek. This is an annual requirement for PERA. Item K, approve, disapprove PERA annual reporting form for the following volunteer fire departments. Same ones as above. And this is also an annual requirement for PERA. Item L, approve, disapprove law enforcement protection fund application for the July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2017 fiscal year. This is what's referred to as LEPF funds for the Sheriff's Department. It's based upon the number of certified officers and your population. So they should receive a total of $41,600, which can only be used for, this department uses it for equipment purchase and training. Their statute only allows a few things that it can be utilized for. So I just need approval of that application. We will be adding an item to new business, a proclamation for the Cliff High School boys basketball team.
And you also have the Cobra wrestling team?
Cobra wrestling team will be here in April. They were unable to be at this week.
So we just need to get a trophy for that Cliff team that says again, right?
Yeah. You didn't have to put the year, right? Just
It's just, quit putting the years, it's just gonna fill up.
That's awesome.
Moving on to contracts and agreements. Item M, approve, disapprove agreement A16-10, grant award agreement between New Mexico Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department and the County of Grant on behalf of the Tyrone Volunteer Fire Department. This is a grant in the amount of $20,000 with a local match of $2,000 for equipment purchase, and the $2,000 is in their budget. Item N, approve, disapprove agreement A16-11, public project revolving loan fund between New Mexico Finance Authority and Grant County for the Santa Rita Volunteer Fire Department, loan number 3438-PP. This is the loan in the amount of $516,000 for the construction of a fire station.
Okay.
the resolutions in the other section. She has a resolution in there.
Let's start with the senior citizens. That's right. Not bad, Brett.
I'm nearly ready to qualify. I just don't have good cribbage terms.
Item O, approve, disapprove agreement A16-12, memorandum of agreement between the Village of Santa Clara and the County of Grant regarding the use of real property also known as the Senior Citizen Center. This is an agreement that allows us to utilize their building to provide programs for the seniors. This expires the end of this month, and this will be to renew for another 3 years. Item P, approve, disapprove agreement A16-13, memorandum of agreement between the Town of Silver City and County of Grant regarding the use of real property also known as the Senior Center. Same thing except for this Silver City Senior Center. And both municipalities have already agreed to do this again. Yeah. Next, item X will be a new item under bids. Item Q, Item Q, approve, disapprove bid IFB B-15-12 Grant County Road Department hydrostatically driven front-wheel drive self-propelled chip spreader. We received one bid from Sierra Machinery in the amount of $222,265. We have a capital outlay appropriation, and it was $125,000 for this. So what we'll do is we can finance the rest.
Anything for the old one? Are we just good?
Around 6,000.
6,400 or something.
5 or something like that. Correct.
Did everybody go out and take a picture with it? You've had it for 40 years.
Not yet. We were like family, getting rid of family.
Yeah.
You have no sentimental value here, or what?
Lots of fading wire.
It is. It's been a good machine.
You test it for too many years?
Yeah, you just can't get parts for it anymore.
Moving on to resolutions, item R, approve, disapprove resolution R16-13, the 2016 certified mileage. There was slight reduction in the Hanover Cemetery Road has been reduced from 0.51 miles to 0.14 miles. You'll be certifying a total of 694.83 miles of maintained roads. Item S, approve, disapprove resolution R16-14, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement and intercept agreement by and between Grant County, New Mexico and the New Mexico Finance Authority to pay a principal amount of $516,303 for the purpose of financing the cost of planning, designing, and constructing a new fire station for the Santa Rita Volunteer Fire Department. This is the second part of the paperwork that goes along with the agreement, is the resolution authorizing us to do so. Item T, approve, disapprove resolution R16-15, a resolution establishing the Grant County Detention Center Oversight Committee. This is a resolution that was submitted by the local ACLU chapter, requesting the establishment of a committee. I would like to mention that I think over the course of our discussions, we've developed a very good rapport with the local chapter. They come in fairly regularly. Mr. Andazola has been addressing their concerns. We've addressed many of the issues brought forth, from increasing our medical coverage to providing more information on mills and caloric intake and how the commissary works and those sort of things. So I think we've developed a very good rapport with that. I would like to also mention that we do have a tremendous amount of oversight already from New Mexico Association of Counties, who has jail specialists, detention specialists who provide us oversight. There's an accreditation process that's available that we're working towards. So development of all of our policies that we're doing is working towards that accreditation, and we would have a board that would oversee that as well. So that's my recommendation, that we do not proceed with establishing another board when we already have current oversight. You want anything to add? Item U, approve, disapprove Resolution R16-16, a budget adjustment. Linda, would you go over that, please?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, there's several budget adjustments that need to be approved. The first one being a temporary cash transfer from the general fund into the airport fund in the amount of $50,000. And then there's a intra-budget transfers in the Public Works Department in the amount of $2,250, decreasing the ground maintenance and improvements, and increasing training by $250, and increasing supplies and tools by $2,000. An intra-budget transfer in the reappraisal fund, we're decreasing capital outlay by $7,000 and increasing the non-capital equipment by $7,000. In Whiskey Creek Fire Department, we're decreasing supplies and tools by $2,000 and decreasing schools and conventions by $2,000. There's a revenue increase for an airport lighting system. It's a grant that they received. Revenue is increasing by $13,500. Expenditures are increasing by $15,000. And there's a permanent cash transfer from the airport into this lighting system grant in the amount of $1,500. An increase in revenue and expenditures by $100,000, and this is for a New Mexico Fire Protection grant that Tyrone has received. Increasing the DWI Core Cantinas by $5,895, and this is just for operating expenses. Increasing revenue and expenses by $692,133, and this is for the Rosedale Road Colonias grant. And we're increasing expenses at the airport fund by $25,000, and this is for training and for fuel costs. So the total revenue increase is $805,633. Total expenditure increase is $838,028, and the rest is just washing itself out with the transfers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, item V, approve, disapprove Resolution R16-17, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement and intercept agreement by and between Grant County, New Mexico, and the New Mexico Finance Authority in the amount of $115,513 for the purpose of financing the purchase of construction material for a road improvement project in the Loma Verde Estate subdivision. This is for the assessment district for Loma Verde. And close. I believe Earl has started some work there already, so.
Thank you, Council. Thank you very much. Thank everyone for all the hard work on this. It's been one thing after the other.
Item W will be approving, disapproving health plan claims indigent fund for February 29th, 2016. There are a total of 13 claims to Healy Regional Medical Center for December in the amount of $29,656.16. There are a total of 5 claims for January 2016 to Healy Regional Medical Center in the amount of $4,538.65 for a total of 18 claims in the amount of $34,194.81. And I would just like to commend Brian and his staff in working with us and reducing this and getting this billed correctly. It's taken a huge hit off of our indigent fund. And as you can see, this is a tremendous decrease, and this is for several months rather than 1 month. It was 2 to 3 times this. So thank you very much.
I agree.
That's it.
And of course, we will recess and reconvene at the Grant County Detention Center on Thursday, right? So don't let me adjourn the meeting too early. Okay?
Yeah, we do your annual tour of the detention facility.
So, we'll start with county reports. So I guess we'll start with Brian, if you don't mind, Brian.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. A couple items on my report today. I'll start out with finances, and as a reminder, we're backed up from our board meeting, so these are January finances. We had 2 months in a row, December and January, that were really tight for the hospital. We had low patient volumes, inpatient, outpatient, and we're still continue to invest in our organization with some big projects. That put us behind. We were riding about break even up to that point. We were a little bit ahead. That put us, with those 2 months, about $1 million behind in our revenue expense side of the finance equation. We still have 135 days of cash. We still have approximately $27 million in the bank, no debt. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear. On the revenue expense side, excuse me, things continue to be tight. It's the hardest environment in healthcare in modern history. We're still in kind of a rebuilding cycle, a lot of big projects going on, but we're really confident that we're going to continue to move out of this latest challenge. As of February, the finances in February, which we'll report to our board next week, we can already see we're starting to climb back out of that. We got some big projects going on still. We're coming towards the end of our big Meditech, our electronic health record upgrade. That's a couple more months to go. That will give us some relief when we're done that project. We have a big project going along with our entire complex revenue cycle. And if you remember months ago, a year ago, there was fear that we were going to outsource our business office, and you remember those discussions. Well, as promised, we didn't outsource our business office, but what we did is insource, bring in external resources temporarily to help shore up our revenue cycle and do the work needed to upgrade it. So for a period of time, we're incurring additional costs to our organization to upgrade our revenue cycle. But we just want the commissioners to know that things are tight. If you saw the paper last month, things are tight, and that's the truth. But we're going in the right direction, and we'll be pulling out of this over these next couple months. But this year will be a tight year for us. Next item, physician recruiting. We're doing a lot of work around physician recruiting. Excuse me. We have a couple retirements in the community. One of our anesthesiologists, Dr. Donnell, is retiring next month, so we're recruiting for another anesthesiologist. Dr. Sparks, after many years, is retiring as our ENT, ear, nose, and throat physician. We're recruiting for another ENT. We had a couple of pediatricians leave our community over the last several months. We're recruiting for pediatricians. We've had interviews with a urologist recently, an additional urologist to bring to our community, a nephrologist we're in communication with. This was very fortuitous. This physician's father, many years ago, bought property in the Mimbres and has a house in the Mimbres, and so this physician has been here many times and wants to relocate to this area. So a lot of physician recruiting to shore up meeting the community needs for our physicians and keep as many people as close to home as possible. I just talked about finances are tight on our revenue and expense side, but we want the commission to know that we continue to have dialogue with our board, and we're continuing to move forward with our analysis of the construction project that we've been talking about. That construction project involves our labor and delivery suite, which is not adequate for our community, and it also involves our operating room, recovery room space. So we've done the initial planning for this project. We're moving to the next phase, which is the specific architectural drawings for the project. And then the intent would be, if finances still look good, we will continue to move forward into that construction project. It's about an $8 to $10 million project. And, even though finances are tight, part of our long-term strategy to help us on our finances involves having a better OR suite so that we can attract more surgeons that also meet the needs of our community and also bring in revenue. So it's one of those projects, even though things are tight, we need to keep looking at to move forward. And so we'll be talking to the commission probably in the next couple months about how we're going to move that forward if we ultimately decide to move forward at this time. Because of the cost of the project, we are strongly contemplating potentially financing the entire project, depending on where it comes in, out of cash in the organization. We have solid cash reserves, and so a philosophical discussion at our board is how much cash on hand should a community hospital have, right? So some people are comfortable at, 27 million, some people are comfortable at 20. What is that money doing right now? We have $27 million, no debt, and as you guys very well know, how much is your cash earning at the bank? Not very much. So it's literally just sitting there. And so the question is, well, how much do you need for the rainy day? As you know, it doesn't rain too much in New Mexico. That doesn't mean that we don't prepare and don't have funds on hand. But the key question is how much? As a county-owned community hospital, that's the conversation we're having. Should a portion of that money be sitting in the bank, or should a portion of that money be reinvested in our organization to serve our communities? So we just want you to know that's the dialogues we're having. Should we finance a portion of it, or should we take it all on in cash for this project? And we'll be, of course, bringing that information to you guys in the future. Last item I have is just a thanks to Charlene and her team. Appreciate the extra work that you guys helped us with on that capital outlay from a year ago. We were allocated $200,000 by Senator Morales and Representative Zimmerman to help us purchase a nuclear medicine camera so that our other cameras end of life, and this will keep our community close to home for those studies. But, with that process, we got there was a little bit of confusion up at the state level, and it ended up having the county take on a significant amount of extra work to help us with the paperwork and actually do the bid for it that you guys approved, last month. So thank you for all that additional work. We've sent out the contract for that piece of equipment. We'll be purchasing it and then invoicing for the reimbursement. But I appreciate everybody's help with managing that. In this next cycle, we think we've figured out how to not go through that. But just want to thank you and your team. And that's all I have, and I stand for any questions you may have.
Questions, guys?
Probably we know the answer, but you said it sounded like there was some loss of doctors in our community. Is it the same reasons or new reasons or anything that we can put our finger on that we can maybe do something about?
These particularly are straight up retirements. Dr. Spark's been in our community for 20, 25 years. Dr. Donnell also 20-some years. So these are just straight up retirements.
And what about the replacement of staff members on your staff there at the hospital? You've lost some recently. Are we working on that?
We're constantly turning over staff, so many per month, and we do an analysis every week. If we've lost any positions in the week, do we still need them? How many do we need? And we replace as needed. There's areas where we've increased staffing, such as in our nursing departments, so we analyze each position every week.
Okay. So I love your analogy about it doesn't rain much in New Mexico, because you're right when you're talking the literal sense of rain. However, every year it seems like Santa Fe sends some storms down for us.
Yes.
And in that sense, sometimes they're minor storms and just a little drizzle, and sometimes they're hurricanes.
Yes.
And you've been through some of those. So those are the kind of storms we really got to watch out for.
Yes.
Whether it's detention centers, whether it's hospital, so community providers set stuff, or hold harmless, or the unintended consequences of the state doing other things. So those are the storms you really got to watch out for.
And they keep coming. We just lost through the safety net care pool. They just that got decreased as of January 1. We get $200,000 less per month. So that keeps coming. The reimbursement challenges keep coming. So we're working on all fronts. We stay pretty aware of what's coming. There is an occasional surprise, But that is our new healthcare environment. As you guys well know, the county environment is not much different. The challenges keep coming. And so when we speak about that, what we're really talking about is that money in the bank. What should we be doing with it? How much should we have in the bank? And if we polled, the people in the room, we have that many different answers. That's the philosophic discussion we're having. Yes, we need money in the bank. Yes, we need to save for a rainy day, or to be able to buffer against some challenges from the state or feds. So we're very aware of how much we need for those to buffet the organization through those challenges. But truly, how much should we have on hand? How much should we reinvest into the organization?
I'm sure you guys will do your analysis and let us know.
We will definitely do that.
Okay. Anything else? Thanks very much, Brian. I always appreciate it. Are you ready? All right, let's go.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, I respectfully submit my report for February 5th through March 11, 2016. Item number 1, policy and procedures. That item remains the same. Item number 2 on our detention facility update. Currently, we have 2 candidates that are being considered for part-time vacancies. We have 2 part-time vacancies. As far as the department is concerned, we had the following personnel have been promoted within the ranks of the detention center. Officer Nathaniel Fisher is promoted to the rank of sergeant. Officer Michael Rodriguez has been promoted to the rank of corporal. And Officer Justin Gojkovic has also been promoted to the rank of corporal, and we congratulate those officers on their promotions. They've been doing very well. Item number 3 on our assessment status, that detention assessment, that remains the same. Item number 4 on a training update. Sergeant Galindo and Officer West will be attending Control Force Level 1 and Level 2 training. Upon completion, these officers will be certified instructors, so they will be able to certify and train our officers. We won't have to go out and find someone else to do that. Also, Deputy Andazola and Sergeant Fisher attended the PREA training this month, and they will also visit Luna County Detention Center this Friday, and they'll get with their coordinator, and for that purpose is so they can share information, and hopefully between the 2 of us we can learn from one another. So we're utilizing other centers, other detention centers, to get ideas from them, and this PREA is also a very important part of what's happening with the detention center, what's happening, as you mentioned, with some of the mandates that are coming down from the feds. Sergeant Galindo and Corporal Rodriguez will attend defensive tactics training this month, and also once they complete that, they will also become certified instructors to certify the rest of our personnel in the facility. So the purpose of those 2 trainings is to get them certified as instructors, so they can come back and certify all the detention officers whenever they do come back. And as part of our we're trying to improve our training structure at the facility, and this is part of it, is bring them back and have the certified instructors at the facility there, so we can continue with the certification needs of the facility. Item number 5, inmate support. That item remains the same. Item number 6 on our award program, Officer Martinez has been selected as Employee of the Month for February. Officer Martinez has demonstrated a commitment to the detention center through his work ethics and willingness to help others. And Officer Martinez's motivation resonates to other officers on the shift, so we congratulate Officer Martinez for being selected this month as Officer or Employee of the Month. Item number 7 on our detention statistics, the average daily population for the month of February, we had 58, which is 1 more than last month. On high population males, it's 55, it's 2 less than last month. High population females is 11, 3 more than last month. And currently, as of March 11th, there are 68 inmates that have been booked into the facility. The average length of stay for this reporting period is 34.03 days. And then I have the breakdown for the capacity report and also the jail inmate confinement report, if you have any questions on those. Okay?
Yeah, I guess following what happened with the Department of Corrections and those escapes, and maybe
Yes.
learn from what they've done,
Yes, sir.
didn't do, or did do, or whatever.
Yes, sir, and I've
That's
been
scary.
following that and been talking with the DOC, and of course, there's some, they're doing their investigation, and I think there's some improvement that needs to go all around, and, we also discussed that with our personnel also, and, to show them what can happen if you do become complacent. I don't know that was the reason, but certainly we're trying to improve our, the way that we do things also, and we're learning from other facilities.
And I was impressed to hear that you were having your people talk with Deming and other counties, I would hope, and get kind of what's happening in other detention centers to see what we can do to improve.
Yes, sir. I've had conversations with Virginia Lee from Sierra County, and so we are trying to improve our communication with the other detention facilities. Item number 8, our monthly arrest totals, and I apologize, this is for February 2016 instead of 2015, so if you would please make that correction. Silver City Police Department had 72, Grant County Sheriff Department had 26, New Mexico State Police had 18, Barrett had 5, Santa Clara Police had 11, Hurley Police had 1, and New Mexico State, Western New Mexico University had 2. Item number 9 on our transports, we conducted 19 district court transports. We had Division 1 Magistrate Court had 33, Division 2 Magistrate Court had 9, Silver City Municipal Court had 2, and there were no others for the other municipal courts. And we conducted 2 medical transports, so the total number of transports for this reporting period is 63. In item number 10, we had 20 probation violations currently at the facility. The probation violations awaiting transport for this facility, we have 3 right now that are awaiting transport to other facilities. The total inmates charged with the warrant arrest are 37, so if you look at the warrant arrest and the probation violation, to make it the majority of inmates that we have in the facility right now. And so the total number of special management inmates is 11. And again, that does seem to be going up, and because of the issues that are having, some of the issues that we're having with the inmates that are coming in, they're coming in with special needs. So we're trying to keep on top of that. We're trying to improve our special management because, again, as you mentioned, that is an area that being mandated by the state, and so we're trying to keep on trying to improve that and make sure that we're doing our job right. That's all I have, sir.
Any questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike. Earl, you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We've just been working on that Loma Verde subdivision the last couple of weeks. I'm already getting requests out there to put the speed limit signs up, so everybody's pretty happy. We're taking one day off a week to do some patching. I'm going to take a look at next week at maybe taking a week off out there at Loma Verde to get caught up on some other things. Other than that, it's business as usual. We did finish the water line project out there on Rosedale, and we're just waiting for engineers to finalize the construction plans before we get the second phase of that project going. Other than that, if you have any questions.
I thought it was kind of funny that the instant the accolades came in for you redoing those roads out there at Camino Verde, Commissioner Ramos took all the credit for that and didn't push it over to Commissioner Hall. Usually I thought it was Commissioner Hall's job to take all the road issues.
Over that department.
I think Brett volunteered.
Oh my
I think he's
God.
giving out the phone numbers tonight.
Everybody seems to be pretty happy out there.
Yeah, I think so. I got requested, I guess over the weekend for somebody else, and I told them to contact you that we're in the mode to take over roads if they'll bring them up to specs, and I don't remember where it was, but, so.
I would like to thank the senators and Charlene for helping get that tip started. We greatly appreciate it.
You betcha.
It's great for the whole county, as most of us know, that's spread amongst the other entities too, so, that's a real plus for the whole county.
Thanks, sir. Linda, I assume you're done?
Yes.
Okay. Not done. I can't mess up a name at that table, can I? Mr. Sheriff?
We've been extremely busy with a lot of activity going on in the county in regards to crime. As you guys read in the newspaper, a lot of activity has happened and continues to happen. Currently, I am short-handed quite a bit in the office. Been making moves, moving people around, trying to fill the patrol division. As you know, patrol is the biggest that is out there for the county in regards to patrolling and keeping the community safe. Currently, the state police is recruiting heavily in this county because they are short-handed in Grant County, and they are recruiting our very experienced officers, not just with Grant County, but Silver City is also going to be affected by this. The governor approved them to hire more and pay more and that, so I'm a little concerned with that because of where we're at, and you know, some of I know for a fact that some have already applied and are testing here soon. I'm really worried about that happening, being that I'm already short-handed. So I'm asking for your help with whatever we can do to try and retain our people. Right now they are running a lot of hours. They are getting tired. They've been getting called out a lot because we're running short-handed. So I really do need your help in trying to deal with this issue. Our property crime is starting to increase again, and it's not in one dedicated area, it's throughout the county. So we're trying to do as much as we can with what we have. So I just ask for some of your assistance with whatever you guys can do. Staffing wise, right now, like I say, the property crime is up. We got a lot of activities coming up that we need to cover, which is going to be the Blues Fest, the Tour of the Gila, the rodeo. All that requires extra manpower, and right now I can't say honestly that I could dedicate anything to that activities. And that is a big public safety thing for our community in regards to them needing our assistance. But I'm doing everything that I can with what I have, so I'm hoping that by then, I do have 2 current vacancies that we're trying to fill. The quality of applicants is not there anymore. I don't know why people do not want to come into the law enforcement field. Well, I do know why, but it's my personal opinion. But I think that I need to offer them a little bit more to try and retain what we have, because they are recruiting our experience. They're not. I mean, and it's a lateral academy that the state police is just gonna take people, and they're looking at money, and that's what they want to do. I mean, I can't blame them, because our job is very stressful in what we do, and they want to be compensated a little bit more. And I do have 3 that have already told me they're going to retire by June from my staff, and I mean, I don't blame them for that either. I mean, I applaud them for dedicating 20 years at least. That's our eligibility time to retire, and they're looking at retiring. So, you know, I'm hoping that I can get some help. Other than that, like I say, we're just every day on the go, nonstop, and you know, I commend my staff for what they do. You know, they're out there every day doing what they're doing, and they are getting tired. So I need to get them some type of help. So other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you have any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a comment, or actually a question. In 2000, I believe, is when we had the layoffs way back, you know, that year. And at that point, we contacted the state to help us out with different calls. Are we at the point where we need to contact the state and ask them to help us out with the state police? Being that they are taking our people and they're going to have more numbers, are we at the point where we need to ask them to help us out with some of these calls, especially out in the boonies? You know, we have a lot of areas that are not covered at one time. So are we at that point? Should we be calling them and asking them for their help? I know that I've talked to some of your police officers, and they stated that they don't actually answer some of the calls that are put out there because they feel it's not their job. So are we at that point? Should we contact the state and ask them for help?
That's correct. Actually, Commissioner Ramos, we have staff or department head meetings every month involving the sheriff, all the police chiefs, and the state police. We're all in the same situation. We're all shorthanded, and it's a difficult thing to work together on, because it's not just me that's shorthanded. The police department is shorthanded. State police is shorthanded. That's why they're trying to recruit our people, and it's getting to the point to where the municipalities are shorthanded, and that we're covering them, and it's hard. It's hard for me to cover all municipalities. We assist the city. Our commissioning has really put a burden on us. I can't, because of the states that law that came through the Supreme Court ruling, I can't cross-commission for them to help us. The municipalities, the state police, when they have people available, they will help if we need it. But we are in communication every month on what issues are going on in Grant County, and we're all in the same situation. You know, I just hate losing my experienced, certified people that I have that are looking for money. But we are communicating every month, trying to help each other out, figure out ways of helping each other.
Or Sheriff, have you checked with the Association of Counties to see where we fall in class, in our class, and where we fall with pay?
As far as our class, we're Class B over county in regards to the population and that. I can't honestly answer you what the pay is. I know that we brought in a person to do a survey in regards to where we fall in this situation. I don't know the results of that, where we really sit with it.
And I'm sure the association could put that together for us pretty quick.
We're in the process of a salary and compensation plan. It's not complete yet.
Okay.
Because some of that data is hard to get out of other counties. I should have that hopefully in the next month or so, and then we'll be able to take a look at it and review it. And one of the things he's having trouble with is comparing our benefits with other counties, because we pay 100%, and there may be one or two that might do that. So that's kind of slowed up the comparison process for that. So we are working on that. And another thing we're looking at too is, staffing matrices. Are we, heavy staff, and not just your department, every department. Are we heavy staffed? Are we staffing accordingly? Are we too management heavy, or do we need to maybe look at some possible restructuring, which I've discussed with you as well. So we're looking.
And I'm so happy that we do pay 100% of medical, because that should be a really big perk. And I don't think that's being looked at by some of these police officers, because that could be, $300 a month, could be $400 a month in some cases, deciding how big that family is. And that's right.
The problem is the millennial generation does not see that as real, tangible. They're not sick. They don't use it. They don't realize how expensive it is.
And that's been going on for some time now.
Yeah, it's a gigantic problem in that generation, especially. Are you finished?
I'm done, thank you.
On the state police again, Sheriff. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I'm trying to paraphrase something you said, that they feel as though they're shorthanded. But isn't it true? The reason they're shorthanded is because they're expanding at such an exponentially rate?
And I cannot, Commissioner Caston, I cannot answer that, because I do not know. I don't know if they're expanding or they're adding or what they're doing. All I know is that they were real hesitant about doing the lateral program, but for some reason, Albuquerque Police Department is recruiting all their guys. They're losing them to APD because they're paying a lot more and giving bonuses and all this stuff. So they're losing, so now they're in competition with them, and that's affecting the smaller communities. And it's not just Grant County, it's statewide.
Yeah.
They're recruiting statewide.
But I think I just mentioned that things happen at the state level that sometimes have intended consequences and sometimes have unintended consequences, and I feel as though we're falling into that right now, where they're paying a lot more money and they never thought about what that's going to do to all the agencies underneath us, yet the same state hadn't given a school teacher an increase in over 10 years.
That's correct, yes.
So, well, I mean, this particular person has priorities, and they're all in the courtroom and in the police officers, so. Yes, sir, go ahead.
First of all, I want to mention that, I want to, congratulate you and your officers. I went to the DARE graduation yesterday in Cliff. It was excellent, and it was great to see those kids. And, that one that won the essay contest, it was amazing. A 3-page, single space. It was unreal the way this kid was thinking. It was...
Was it Charlie?
Well, she was... No. But he won a bike and a stuffed animal, so I thought that was great that happened. The other thing that, because of my past experiences and stuff, is generally whenever we see a property crime increase, we're talking about substance abuse problems. And, from watching 2020 the other night, I've got a concern, and of course, being involved in Tucasa and my finger on that pulse, is... Are we increasing in a heroin problem in our community?
Here in Commissioner Hall, here in Grant County, we have an increase in not just heroin and meth, and we're trying to target it as best as we can, but like I said, with the resources that I have, it's hard to continue to operate it. We do currently have a drug task force that is also hurting with staffing and finances, and so it's making it hard, but we're trying to target it as best as we can. But we do have a problem, and that is a lot of the cause of our property crime. They're trying to steal from somebody to get what they need, and it's just it's a hard challenge for us.
Yeah, sometimes I'd like to sit down with you and talk to you about on the task force, about a more localized task force than working more down south.
That's correct.
I think if the feds need to work on that a little harder, and we need to work on our local area, but that's something you and I can talk about. I'd like to have your input.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And I think, Commissioner Hall, I think with this Tucasa, if it were to come in, the sooner it comes in, I think it'll be a big plus for us, because there are people out there that could use help, and I think that's going to be a big benefit, because right now they don't have anywhere to go, anywhere to turn other than to crime.
And the bottom line, we got to treat the disease.
That's correct.
Putting them in jail doesn't always take care of it.
No, it doesn't.
Still being made here, or is it being shipped in from now?
A lot of the intel we're getting is it's coming from south and west of us, Phoenix area. We have a lot of intel, and it's just hard working it, because we are so small, and they feel Silver City is a good place to make exchanges and get it moving further north, but a lot stays here. So that's what I'm saying. I've been on the task force to work a little bit harder here in Grant County, but like I say, it's not an easy task.
Yeah, they don't want to be found.
This was first stop from the border. Deming, here, Wardsburg.
Right. And I just wanted to prepare you guys for this if you start getting calls. There's a lot that we're dealing with. Response times are going to be cut down a little bit, because I have a big county to cover with what I have, and like I say, I thank my staff for every effort that they do. They're coming in after hours when they get called in, when we get busy, and that takes dedication, but it does get tiring from. So.
Actually, the guys at the gun show this weekend had a compliment for you. They said your response time, they had some little issue about a door being open or something. Said they were there so fast and were polite, and everything was great. So you got kudos for that.
Thanks. That's all I have on
I
this
told
one.
them to come and tell you.
Right.
Sheriff, how many patrolmen do you have now?
Right now, I'm budget-wise, I'm financed. I have a budget for 39 certified, including myself and the undersheriff, which, I'm elected, but I am certified, so I qualify under that. But with the vacancies that I have and the people that I have out, I have eight out total.
And some are on sick leave, but some...
Correct.
And some are...
Right.
Okay, some are...
I do have 2 new recruits. One's in the academy, and one just got hired that's uncertified that has to go to the academy. And like I said, I'm in the process of hopefully hiring 2 out of this bunch, but it's just, the quality is not out there. People,
And I guess my point is, I just want to let the community know that there's still over 30 police officers out there working for us, and we're not down to the bare minimums where we're not going to make any calls, because that'll be the next thing being said out there, and that's definitely not true. So, I just want, the public to know, we're still going to cover them, and you're still going to do the best job you can.
That's correct.
Just you are a little short, but we're going to work on it, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing is I am able to move people around. And, when I move somebody from another division, then that division suffers, but we pick it up. I wanted to prepare you guys for this, what we're headed. Summer is coming, and it's only gonna get worse.
And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast of being a manager. We gotta figure things out, just like they figure things out at the hospital, we figure things out here at the county. You're doing a good job, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. And like I said, I just ask for your help.
I may have to claim cobwebs off of that.
You should.
You haven't chased me since
They were wood back then, they were wood.
Thanks, Sheriff, appreciate it. And we are looking at the budget, we are working on that salary survey, and, but, we talked to the amount of money that we're talking about. Those things don't happen overnight. So, we are cognizant of your situation and are trying to help.
Important to us.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Assessor, find us some more money.
That's your job.
Thanks, you guys. Matter of fact, we're going to be pretty busy doing a reappraisal for the year 2016, putting it on the books for 2017, and we'll probably be looking at about 10,000 parcels, and that's all mainly the subdivisions. But I'm going to have a lot of people out in the field, and thanks to the county, thanks to the county manager, I'm pretty much fully staffed, and I feel your pain on the staff situation there, Tocayo, because it's rough, but we made ends meet, and thank you very much once again. For starters, I do want to thank my employees. We've been working very hard on getting caught up, and we are caught up at this time. We're in the process of sending out our notices of evaluations, and that's going to be on March 31st. We are on target to send them out, and I would like to express this. At this moment, we're still working on our sales ratios analysis, and I will not place the 3% cap on my values at this moment until I complete my studies. I'm doing a complete land studies due to the fact that last one that we ever had was in 2008, and that was the peak of the market. We're sending 4 employees to do some training up in Sandoval County. It's course 1. It's the fundamentals of real estate appraising. They push a whole semester class in 1 week, and then you take a 4-hour exam. And my goal for my first 4 years, I'd like to get as many employees certified. It does take a lot. It takes 4 classes, and they will be doing other courses down in July for Property Tax Division. And I'll probably be going myself because I need to do my continuing education for being a New Mexico certified appraiser. Once again, the notice evaluations, we'll be sending them out. Please look at that document, because that's one of the most important documents that you will receive from the county assessor's office. It gives all the information, evaluation, assessments, exemptions, and it gives you an estimated tax. The 65-year and older freeze, I'm going to accept that until possibly the end of May before I certify with our state assess, local assessment, and copper production, and that would be by June 15th. We had some visitors down in from Property Tax Division come March 8th and 9th, and I was evaluated by the state of New Mexico. They were here on the 8th and the 9th, and everything looked very well. It's a 2-day affair where they ask you a ton of questions. They want to know if you're being fair and equitable and current and correct. So I will probably won't receive my letter until probably in May, exactly where I'm at, but so far, everything sounds very, very good. I ran the numbers from 2015 to the year 2016, and they're pretty much closely related. We don't know what's going to happen with state assessed property for 2016, and once again, under copper production. We will receive that also in June, so I will know the final numbers by June. anything that comes about, I do let the community know, especially like the senior freeze or any other exemptions that go on here in Grant County. But we do take it very serious, especially with the seniors, and I went and spoke with all the seniors and all from Santa Clara to Cliff to Mimbres. They're a hard group, let me tell you. They do ask a lot of questions. Yes. And I hope you're feeling better there. Okay.
Talked about the death, we came knocking the door out of halfway to death and starts asking me questions.
You know,
Great.
Well, I'm sorry, but we'll have to increase your value.
Oh, no.
We needed more money, guys, okay? Everything else is working in my office, and I'm very glad that we are getting close, fully staffed. We have another individual coming in on March 28th. She's going to be an appraiser / data entry, and her name is Lorraine Zuni, and she is, I've known her for the last 20-some-odd years, worked for the district attorney, understands a lot of the deeds and the assessment process, and I'm looking for her to come in on March 28th. Well, I was talking to the newspaper, and our little hike this weekend for the Grant County Trails was wonderful. We had 29 people, 9 dogs, and 2 donkeys. We went up to Saddle Rock, and it was a lot of fun, and we're gearing up for the next one due to the fact that we're going to have the Continental Divide Trail group meet on the 15th of April and the 17th through the 17th of April. The interesting thing is it works, and I'm trying to get a lot more people out to hike, and it has been a lot of fun. I've been doing this for the last 3 years, and please, I'd like some of the elected officials to come up and join us, especially you, Mike. You look throwing the ball for no ball, all right? On the Friday, April 15th at 5 o'clock, it would be nice to have our chairman, our commissioners, any other elected officials to be introduced. That's going to be the opening for the CDT trail, and it's going to be down at the Toad. We'll be emceeing. And we have a lot of fun doing that. And, you know, we're going to introduce not only the town of Silver City, but it would be nice to bring our county. It's scheduled on the 16th, also on Saturday. And Sunday, we're also going to have a hike with the CDT, and that's going to be up at the Arrastra in Los Altos. And we want to hit the CDT that day, so we'll probably have quite a few people going and hike. But everything else is doing fine. I'm very happy on being in my office. I really enjoy my employees, and I do thank them. They've done a great job. Any questions, Chairman? Questions for members?
I think the Chair said, bring in money.
Well, we're working on it.
More money.
We're working on it. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with state assessing copper this year, and I hope it turns out okay.
And extractions is, you know, he talked about a lot in the legislature this year. It's a difficult way to do business, and we're one of those. You know, the oil and gas has had their difficulties and created problems, and you know, ours is up and down. So as far as copper, and it's difficult to deal with. It's hard to set a budget.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Last time I met with the Chino guys, they felt as though their production was going to hold steady throughout this year. They were making copper at a little under $1.50, and it's what, $2.17, $2.18 now?
$2.17, $2.18.
So if they keep that up, we should be okay.
It does sound like that you know, doing the certification of all the values within the last 4 or 5 years, it looks pretty positive, and I do let my manager know anything that comes about, not only with our state assess, we're also, I'm still looking at a lot of these towers, and you know, being local assessment, I still question the state whenever we receive our state assessed valuations, and I do have the right to question them, and I do have the right to adjust valuation, and this year I'm definitely gonna look at those values very, very close.
Anytime we start talking about budgets and taxes and what have you, we remember how important the copper industry is to this community, and you know, it's something we always got to keep in the back of our minds, because they're essential essential to our nature here, and
If we didn't have their revenue, we'd be in real trouble.
that's right. So,
We got.
you know, they're very important to us, and we thank them, you know, for all the production and everything they do to stay alive here in this area.
Thank you, Commissioner Reynolds. Chairman?
No, I was just gonna move on, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it, and, like I said, hope to see you guys out on a little hike here and there, and thank you for everything. Thank you, elected officials and,
You have a
department.
wheelchair division?
Matter of fact, yes, we do.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Busy
Day, last Tuesday, March 8th, 14 filed for 5 positions in Grant County, which is a pretty good turnout. We were a little bit busy that day. Filing for commission on District Number 3, we had on the Democrat side, Alicia Edwards and Ralph Dominguez. On the Republican side, Henry Torres for Grant County Commission District Number 4. We had 4 Democrats sign up, Antonio Trujillo, Marilyn Jean Alcorn, James McCauley, and Jeremiah Garcia. And then on the Republican side, we had Gerald Billings Jr. For County Commission District Number 5, we had 3 Democrats, Stephen Edwards, Harry Francis Brown, Simon Ortiz, and on the Republican side, Harry Peacock. And we also had 2 uncontested races in Grant County, one for Grant County Clerk, Democrat Marisa Castrillo signed up, and on the County Treasurer, Steve Armendariz. So we had a good turnout for that day. A lot of interested applicants for 3 positions, so looks like it's going to be an interesting primary season for us in Grant County.
What we're hoping for is a full race. That's what I tell people.
That's all we want to wish all the candidates lots of luck and have fun with it. When you get elected, be ready to work.
And don't let it bring you down.
So a couple other things, we last day to register to vote or make any changes to your voter registrations is May 10th. Also on May 10th, early absentee voting begins. And on May 21st, early voting at the Baird Community Center begins from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then one last bit of business, our office will be closed next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We'll be attending election school, getting ready for this huge primary for us.
Now, Rob, do you put that in the news media, make sure that the public knows and everything?
Yes, sir. We definitely do.
As usual, right?
Any questions? That's all I have, thank you. All righty. Now, Roger, do you have a list? It looks like a long list.
No, it's short. I just want to bring you up to date on the vacancy in the planning director position. I have changed up that job description a little bit and retitled it Planning and Community Development Director, incorporated some more community development activities, economic development activities in that job description. It should go out this week for advertisement, and I'm just going to leave it open until filled. We need to find the right candidate for that position. It's a critical component to the operation of the county. I would, in light of that, I would like to thank the staff in the planning department. They've done a great job of stepping up, as well as Randy and Earl and Justin. They've started helping me oversee some projects, and that's helped out tremendously, so thank you for that. Speaking of the construction projects, we have several that we're undertaking all at once. Of course, we have our Ron's Project Tucasa, which is moving along. The conference center is coming along nicely, still on schedule. Road department roof replacement will commence hopefully in the next couple months. We have the courthouse electrical upgrades that all the paperwork, bonds have been issued for that. That should move forward quickly. We'll have a minor remodel project here in the admin office to incorporate some more space for our new commissioners coming on board. So several projects ongoing, takes up a lot of time. As we talked about the decrease in the indigent claims, a lot of that is it goes credit to the medical clearance training that we had healthcare partners come in and do a training for law enforcement detention and the hospital. To date, we've had about 70 law enforcement and detention staff take the online training. So that process is moving along, and it's saving the county a tremendous amount of money, as well as educating staff from law enforcement and detention on when's appropriate to have that take place. And so it'll help, hopefully, with some of our tort claims, those sort of things, and ensuring that we are doing the proper medical process for those folks. Linda's prepared the budget schedule for fiscal year 17. We'll be moving forward with that towards the latter part of this month. Ryan talked about rainy day and that things are tight. Things are extremely tight. When we received our DFA sends out a letter every year talking about what the budget process will be and your deadlines, and they've issued several strong recommendations in the process of our budget. And we face several struggles from the sheriff's department to staffing, detention, and it's the same story for counties as well as the state and municipalities. Things are tight. The state relies heavily on the extraction industry. Oil and gas is caused a huge issue for everyone. Copper here is down, so when we rely on that heavily, it makes things really tight, and we'll have to be very creative and very careful when we put this next year budget together. So I would just encourage you, as you submit your budget submittals this year, that you keep that in mind, that we are being held to some tighter standards from DFA, and if we don't meet those standards, then we don't get approval of our budget. So it's very critical that we, some of the things they're saying is, no reoccurring expenditures from your fund balances. So we're going to have to work with what we've got. We're not going to be able to dip into that rainy day fund. So things are going to be tight, and so I would ask you to please keep that in mind as you make those submittals. So it'll be interesting, won't it, Linda? Other than that, business as usual in our office, and I would stand for any questions that any of you might have.
Questions?
I just want to make a comment, is thank you very much for doing what you can with what we've got. And I know that's been, our model for the past 5 years, and we've tried to stay tight the whole time, and I think everyone's done a good job. So we've got to thank all the department heads and doing what they can for the county, because it's always been tight. Government always runs tight, and we've got a lot of projects going on, like you said, so things are money's real thin, and we'll do what we can. But thank you very much.
Okay. You guys have anything today, commissioners? You want to save it till Thursday? Or?
That's fine. I won't be here on Thursday. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town. I just wanted to mention that we had our Echo Watershed meeting. It was very, very productive this last week. We met with Hurley, Baird, Santa Clara, and of course our county was there. And we chatted about the Twin Sister Creek project. Everyone's in agreement to that we got to do something with that water, and we're going to put our heads together and try and put together the best project we can for that area to secure our waters. I've mentioned time and time before that we have 600,000 gallons worth of water going into the tailings, and we finally come together as a group and figure that we're going to work really hard and diligently together to figure out the best project. I've also met with Mayor Bausch. Their water park is coming along pretty well. Their design is really pretty neat. I don't know if many people know this, but they are putting together that a water park in Santa Clara for the kids. So that's pretty awesome. Congratulations to all the candidates that have put in. I think win or lose, anyone that puts in to run for an office is a winner, because it takes a lot and you learn a lot, and you're going to find out that talking to the public and trying to get voted in sometimes isn't very easy, and there can only be one winner. But there's a lot of good candidates out there, and good luck to all of you. And that's all I've got.
I just got one thing, Commissioner, since you're not going to be here, I think you've got a talk coming up with the students.
Yes, sir.
And I've got some materials for that, some maps and such, that I'd like to give to you, because I won't be here.
Okay.
And so I'll give it to Charlene, and she can share it with you, okay?
Appreciate it.
Okay.
That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Well, I just want to wish everybody a very pleasant Ides of March, and I hope your Ides of March goes much better than Caesar's. And, yeah, absolutely, you know. Yeah.
Older than I thought.
Dirt? You know, when somebody says beware the Ides of March and you're walking towards the Senate, don't send your centurions away, because you never can tell how the senators are going to take you when you enter the building. So, that being said, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.